Hello and welcome to Truth and Transparency. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Hello and welcome to Truth and Transparency. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Transparency. Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Not sure if this is working, but
today is not a day to celebrate. With the arrest of Richard M. Allen of Delphi.
take care, Miss Vargas. See you soon, Miss Vargas.
Paparazzi, stop.
All right, guys, what is up? Welcome to the Transparency. Happy Friday. Today's Friday, right? Black Friday? Did you guys do some shopping? Welcome. This is Truth and Transparency. This is basically the case against Shanna Gardner, Jacksonville Beach, Florida. This is a murder for hire case. If you guys have followed the dentist, FSU law professor case out of Florida, the Adelsons, this case, some similarities, obviously the same state. Big name on the ticket is Jose Baez. Will be repping Shanna Gardner in this death penalty case November 3rd, just a couple days ago. Actually, a couple weeks ago. Florida said we are seeking the death penalty. So this is the case. I got the discovery request, and then I got the state's response with a load. Idaho needs to take a look and see how this is done. I give nothing but praise to the prosecution for what I'm about to show you guys. Just real quick, February 16th, 2022, Jared was in his vehicle heading home after dropping off his twins to his ex-wife, Shanna Gardner. They were married in 2010. They got divorced in 2015. Horrible divorce, fighting over custody. Again, very similar in the Adelson case, with it being a divorce and then murder for hire. That happened, though, relatively quickly. Shanna and Jared divorced in 2015, and this murder wouldn't happen until February 16th, 2022. Both Jared and Shanna, they had joint custody, 50-50. They were taking each other back and forth to court. They were trying to get, full custody, things like that. It was, nasty. But all of these years had passed, because then we bring ourselves to 2022 when Jared was actually shot. He was driving home. He started another family with his new wife. Shanna got remarried. They didn't start a family yet. So she married a guy named Mario. Kristen is who Jared married. And they end up having two daughters, one of which was in the car. So Jared and Gardner shared twins. Jared was dropping off after a date night, dropping off the kids after having dinner with them at Wendy's, I believe. and dropped them off. And then on his way home, he was driving home with his other daughter, 2-year-old, in the vehicle, strapped into her car seat. He was driving along and there was a tire in the middle of the road. He gets out to move the tire. As he goes to move the tire, he is gunned down and shot multiple times in the middle of the street. Ring cameras in the area picked up the sound of the gunshots, didn't pick it up, but picked up the sound. The daughter sat by herself in the back for like 3 or 4 minutes. So that would happen in February of 2022. Now, obviously, the first people that you look at are, when something like this happens, are, the current wife, the ex-wife. So we're actually going to see exactly how Jacksonville did their investigation, because when I talk about what was supplied to the defense, Jose Baez has his hands full, in my opinion, based off of the transparency and the organization that I've seen from the prosecutor's office. And I believe that they did it right. But here we go. This is what ends up happening. You have February that would go by, March, April, May, June, July. We come to August of 2022. There would be a traffic stop for one man right here, Henry Tenon. Henry Tenon would be pulled over for a traffic violation. And he is a felon, so he can't have any weapons. They search his vehicle. He was driving on a suspended license. But it would come out in body cam footage that this traffic, him being a habitual traffic offender, do you still want us to do all the habitual traffic offender ruse? Or, what do you want me to do? And this is what one of the police officers is heard saying on his body cam to one of his supervisors after arrest or pulling over this guy, Henry. Now, between February of 2022 and this date, August 18th, 2022, very little came out in terms of what they were supplying the public, except there was a point that they put out, we are looking for a blue, dark color blue F-150. And they showed it was not a stock footage, but they had actually shown the footage of the vehicle. Imagine that. So that was a little piece that went out to the public. We are looking if anybody, recognizes this vehicle, things like that. So here, this guy, Henry, would get arrested, pulled over, arrested, and then they take him, into, actually, they don't go to jail. They take him down to the Attorney General's office. And what they begin doing is, instead of going to jail here, they take him down to the state attorney's office, where detectives show him pictures of him driving specific vehicles all across Jacksonville. The images were recorded by license plate readers. His pickup truck, this F-150 dark blue, had been seen on video around the time of the shooting and led investigators to him. This is what they say. Now, very similar in the Adelson case. Okay. They were able to track down, because there was an eyewitness that said, oh, it looked like such and such car. So they started going through all these cars, looking at all this footage, to be able to get that vehicle with the two suspects that were, hired and knew who Katie was. And then Katie dated Charlie and shit like that. So very similar in terms of, we're looking for this vehicle. Now, they have it's like something like 10 hours worth, but in this 5-hour interrogation, which some of it I will show. So here's what's up. The detective says, one of the detectives says that today's going to be the most important day of your life. And he's going to go straight, I'm going to be a straight shooter with you, and says that detectives start to ask some questions about his inconsistency in his story. But this is where the audio tape from the interrogation room is cut out for more than 2 straight hours while a large black square is redacted. And they are showing, the reason they're redacting it is because it's visible, obviously, what they're showing him. And they're showing Henry a bunch of things. But for 2 hours, there's audio that's messed up, and there's this big black redaction on in part of the the recording. Then he says that after the near 5 hours, Henry says he asks for an attorney. There ain't nothing else I can give you. He says Tennant is left alone in the room for about another hour before he is then taken to jail. Again, Henry Tennant was initially charged after the traffic stop with possession of a weapon by a felon and driving with a suspended or revoked license on a third or subsequent conviction. The shotgun that actually was found in his trunk, you'll see when we go over these documents, he's not charged with that because it's an antique shotgun before the year of 1918, and that's grandfathered out. So if you have antiques, those don't count for, you can't charge somebody for that. But in his arrest warrant affidavit, the arrest warrant stated that Henry's financial records, and this is why I really wanted to cover this case, because check this out. So he gets arrested or pulled over August 18th, 2022. They then take him to the Attorney General's, and they just start asking him all these questions that have nothing to do with his traffic violation, by the way. So in his arrest for, so then in August, what they then do is they then put him in jail, and he is in jail for 5 months. So you have the rest of August, then you have September, October, November, December. Then you get to January, and January is that 5th month that comes up. It's January 2023, where he sat in jail for 5 months before he was officially charged with conspiring to commit murder, second-degree murder with a weapon, accessory after the fact to a capital felony, and child abuse. The child abuse part is because Jared's younger daughter, or at the time 2-year-old, was in the vehicle. Now, this though, in his arrest, the arrest warrant for the charges of for the murder, it says that they were able to get Henry's financial records, and from his bank they were able to see 3 handwritten checks from, this is Fernandez Saldana. That's the last name of Saldana, it's Mario. That's the new husband of Shanna Gardner. That there was 3 handwritten checks in October of 2022. I said to myself, wait a second. Henry Tennant literally was arrested, pulled over, and in jail from August all the way in. He wasn't out. So how would he ever get his hands on these checks to deposit them into his account? You know what I'm saying? He literally was in jail August, September, October, November, December. Then you come to January, and then that's when they filed the charges on him for, the murder. So that's why I note this and say this is after August. So we're writing 3 checks. How are we getting them in this man's bank? How am I getting them to him? He's in jail. Okay. So the phone records also showed that Henry and the new husband of Shanna had communicated. Now, the month of the murder was February of 2022. They communicated 35 times via phone in that month, in February, 30 times in March, and 5 to 9 times in May and June. Well, it's like, well, who is this Henry guy? You know, anybody could be driving around and seen on camera. You know, who is this guy? Well, Henry lived in a house that was owned by Mario Fernandez Saldana. Henry lived there from 2018 to 2022. Mario had bought it and owned it from 2016 to 2022. Henry rented from Mario. Okay. Now, mainstream media has it wrong. And we'll get to something where they think that this has been plotted and planned since 2015. I don't know why people struggle to read and understand if this is what your career is in. No. Saldana and Gardner, they met each other in 2015. Okay. So in these papers that I'm about to show you is that, yeah, the prosecutor is writing that at some time during May of 2015 to February of 2022, did they conspire? And they're just putting that block because that's the time frame that she actually physically knew the guy. Okay. So again, the timeline that you need to know is that Jared was shot and killed February 2022. Then I was like, okay, how did they get on this path to start like honing in on this Henry guy? Because they basically pull him over. It's not because he's speeding and all that. That was just what they used to be able to do all that. How do I know this? Well, because the dates on when I start showing you the discovery that I got, the dates on stuff are before he was ever pulled over. That's how. But we're starting here from the beginning. So those of you guys that don't even know the case can understand the case. So again, this is an alleged murder for hire, and Henry was the first one to be arrested. Then they got Henry to talk and work with the prosecutors, and then the arrest of Mario came that next month in February. So January, they give Henry the charges. February, they then arrest Mario, and then they arrest Gardner. She was actually in Washington. They had to extradite her in October of 2023. So here we are. She hires her parents, Shanna Gardner's parents, have a shit ton of money. We're talking buco fucking bucks. All right. My channel, me and everybody that's a part of this channel as a sub, remember, we combine all of our money. We're not touching their money. Okay. That's how much money that family has. They go ahead and they hire Jose Baez. Jose Baez, Aaron Hernandez's attorney, Casey Anthony's attorney. I mean, he's repped some pretty big names, and his clients seem to be found not guilty, right? So, with that said, we are going to show you. This is, I'm going to zoom in. When Jose Baez came in, he did his motion. Boom. Okay, let's go with this. They're charging her and her husband, their defendants, and then their co-defendant is Henry. All right, so let me do this. So there we go. Again, Jared and Shanna were married in 2010. They got divorced in 2015. So here, all this time goes by, and this murder does not happen until 2022. All right. So the count one is that, that's the murder. It was premeditated. Design of the effect of Jared Bridegan. Count 2, Mario on or between November 2021 and February 16th, 2022, and Shanna on or between May 1st, 2015 to May 16th or March 16th, 2023. This date, and this is me just helping out mainstream media here, this is just when they first ever knew of each other. So they're putting that as this gap. That does not mean that that's when this plotting started happening. Okay. They're giving that gap because that's the time frame of those two knowing each other. Then they got married. Then she's got count 3, count 4. All right, so those are all the counts. Murder in the first, conspiring to commit the murder, solicitation to commit a capital felony, and then the child abuse is the daughter that was, in the car. The state said that they were seeking the death penalty. So they went ahead. This is all of her stuff. I don't need to go through all of this with you guys. All right, here it is. Notice of intent to seek the death penalty. So they put that on the record. And that was filed November 3rd, 2023. Now, in comes Jose Baez, and he says, this is my notice of appearance, but more importantly, this is my demand for discovery. And this was filed on November 1st, okay? Now let's take a look at something. We've gone over the Brian Kohlberger stuff. All right, again, you're not going to be able to find this on too many channels. Nobody does the work. But right here, we got our hands on it. So Jose Baez, again, that's his notice of appearance. Then her plea is not guilty. And this is their demand for discovery. Something that's amazing that they do with this is that he just puts right here, pursuant to this rule, and then boom, what he wants. Okay. And he wants the names and addresses of all persons known to the prosecutor to have information which may be relevant to the offense charge. Pursuant to this rule, B, so it's all under the same rule, like 3.220. So you have B1A, B1B, so C. And he goes down his list of things that he wants, right? And it's heavily to the statements of any person made, if there's a co-defendant. So what I'm going to do, because the state, they went ahead and filed on November 15th. Boom. So his is filed on November 1st. He filed. Then November 15th, the state comes with the most in-depth, write down the list of things that Jose Baez wants. They were ready for it. And I'm about to show you guys when we want to talk about how there's no secrets here. This is transparent. That's what I'm about to show you guys. So for purposes of keeping, in this, there's addresses. You guys don't need to know that. So how I'm going to do it is, number one, they want the names and addresses of all persons known to the prosecutor. So their answer to A, they decided to make it into category witnesses, which a category A witness is everybody that's in law enforcement. So they listed their lead detectives. There's 2 of them. Then they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 Jacksonville Police Department police officers. Then they have crime scene detectives. They had 3 of them. Then they have the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. There was 3 special agents and 1 investigation research specialist. Then they had 2 people from the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office. So they answered that, gave it, and supplied all everything. Like I said, I'm not going to. Boom. You can see. Then they have a co-defendant, and that is Henry Tenon. So next up, expert witnesses they want to know about. they're going to use, as of right now, Robert Blythe, expert cellular analysis survey team. They have the cast person that they're using. Boom. Expert witness, Robert. This is your forensic biologist, ATF Forensic Science Laboratory. And then they have Dr. Peter Gillespie, who's the medical examiner. Those are their expert witnesses. Medical examiner's office. Boom. Now you have civilian witnesses. And they have at the arraignment, they said they had over 100 witnesses. And Jose Baez looked at her like she had 9 heads when the prosecutor said this. I kind of said it too, because I'm like, who's all these witnesses? Nobody saw anything. Well, we have civilian witnesses. We have civilian ear witnesses who heard the shot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ear witnesses. Okay. 45 civilian witnesses. Then we have category B witnesses, which are considered wire monitors. Okay. Category B witnesses, wire monitors. And these are all these officers that were involved in some way, shape, or form with wire mounting. I'm like, damn. So moving on here, they want to know written or recorded statements so we're still not through the category of witnesses. Then we have category C witnesses are civilians who provided video surveillance footage. And it's these witnesses here. Then we have the custodian of records. So we have the 911 calls. We have jail calls. We have more jail calls, and then a license plate reader. I'll zoom in. And I'm just like, state bringing it, like we're organized. We did it right. Now, C is all defendant statements of Shanna and Mario. That's about the only thing that's redacted. Then to answer D, which is any written or recorded statements and substance of any oral statements made by a co-defendant. So here we go. There was an attachment, and HT is Henry Tenon. So, and that was listed and you're going to see here in a second when we get down there. The E is pursuant to rule, those portions of recorded grand jury minutes. There was no grand jury, so the answer was none. Okay, there was no secret grand jury. Okay, portions of the recorded grand jury, there's none. Pursuant to this is F, and that would be any tangible papers or objects that were obtained from or belonged to the accused. So please indicate the individual location of each and every such item as to. So that was, again, an attachment. This was for confidential informant is G. None known to the state at this time. We don't know of any confidential informants. H is whether there has been any electronic surveillancing, including wiretapping. Here we go. H is all the wiretapping / any type of surveillance. And this is of the if something was, if the accused, anybody, or conversations to which the accused was a party, and any documents relating. So they want anything that would have been wiretapped. And I was like, oh, hell, look at this, Ready? So here we go. Application for order authorizing the interception and recording of communications. Order unsealing intercepted communications for the purpose of discovery. The guidelines. And then here we go. Intercepted communications of Mario. So they were able to intercept 1, 2 is of her. So I'm curious. interception communications of JRB. Now, I've done my research and I think I know who JRB is. And because I love this channel, I will tell you that I think, well, we'll come back to that. Interception communications of J period O. Intercepted communications of S period H. And then raw data of non-pertinent calls and poll camera surveillance during interception to be provided upon receipt. And there's 4 TBs, see? Now, moving on to J in the discovery request. Right here, you got J. Reports or statements of experts made in connection with this particular case, including results of physical or mental examinations, scientific tests, things like that. And here they have the medical examiner report, they have the medical examiner body diagram, the medical examiner report of investigation/scene investigation, the medical examiner toxicology, ATF, and then the FBI CAS reports. Okay, boom. Moving on to K, which is any tangible papers or objects that the prosecution intends to use in the hearing or trial that were not obtained from or that did not belong to the accused. So they intend to use photos, maps, charts, diagrams, the right forms, court records, supporting documents, body-worn camera, and all items of evidence listed in police reports and property submission/storage cards. Now, L, DNA swabs. They didn't even ask for it. He didn't even ask for this, and they went ahead and gave it. They gave it to the defense, and these were all the buccal swabs done. Maria Fernandez, Shanna Gardner, Kristen Bridingen, that's the new wife. J.O., JRB, Henry. Elimination swabs done to eliminate, swabs. There was swab done on a tire at the crime scene. There was tires at that address, and then keys that were swabbed. M. Something else they didn't have any. Right here, they asked for any of the Brady disclosure. What do you think would be Brady? Did we, are we giving you everything? So they gave them the terms of the co-defendant. So Henry Tennant's plea as outlined in his plea form. So this is the guy that did the shooting. This is the guy that said, I was the shooter. The co-defendant did plea as charged to second-degree murder with a weapon, conspiring to commit murder, accessory after the fact, and child abuse. The defendant will be sentenced by judge to a sentence of at least 15 years, up to life in the Florida State Prison, following a sentencing hearing. They talk about his past. And see, this is the defendant was also arrested in the time for possession of that firearm. And this is how I found out about that the state declined to file this charge because that shotgun that was found in the back of his trunk was a antique and it was not operable. So there's a section you can't charge somebody. Again, this is his prior criminal record, a lot of stuff out of Georgia. So they listed that. Now, when you think it's done and it's over, no. I went ahead and got my hands on the discovery attachment. And so this is the stuff that I love because I want to know how an investigation was done and do I think it's on the up and up? And so basically, this is all the things that Jose asked for. Okay, imagine that. Jose asked for something on the 1st and boom, wait till you see what they gave him by the 15th of November. They asked November 1st, November 15th. Okay. Nothing like Idaho. Nothing remotely like Idaho. All right. So check this out. These were the subpoenas, and how they supplied them was in dated order, chronological order. Can you imagine that? Oh my God. Because you would think that that's how you'd be running, like your investigation should be pretty organized. I mean, how would you be able to investigate and go back and look at your shit if it's not organized? So again, 2/16, 2022, that's the date of the crime, your subpoenas. So this is Wendy's, and why that's where they were eating. That's where he was with his kids to see, like, did somebody follow him from Wendy's, you know? Then on 2/18, JP Morgan Chase Bank, Jared's bank. 2/22, then they did look at the ex-wife. Now, March 2nd, AT&T, this number. Now, on March 7th, a lot of things happening here on March 7th, which is Shanna's American Express, and then they got Citibank. They do Jared's, Kristen's the new wife, and then Shanna Gardner, her Citibank. On, again, March 7th, they do the Community First Credit Union. Again, that's Jared's. Then they do JP Morgan Chase Bank for Kristen and Shanna, because they did Jared's up here. They do a credit union of Jared's, and then 3/9 credit union, the first, where you see Mario Saldana. Mario. This is between the 9th and the 12th. Look at the life insurance company. They hit up the life insurance company to see what's up with that, you know. Then Coinbase, Mario. We have a Verizon, and it's A.T. That's an initial for somebody. Here's Michelin North America, LLC, BF Goodrich. Remember, there was that tire that was in the middle of the road that was the reason that Jared got out to move the tire so that he could proceed. And when he got out to move the tire that was in the middle of the road, that's when he was shot. So April 1st, PayPal of Shanna and her husband. Capital One. Now, JRB. Very interesting here, right? It's like, who's this JRB person? And they're going after their Capital One. And this is May 12th. Regions Bank, JRB. Guns.com, Mario. And then see that JRB again. This JRB person is going to be really important in all of this, because I believe that this person helped the police, I think, a great deal, in my opinion, based off of just kind of connecting some dots in the discovery. Again, all of this stuff with JRB, going for the financials here. Then we get into AT&T in May. They do a bunch of these phone numbers. And then that's in June. Then you get down here to AT&T. Sterling Gardner, that is Shanna Gardner's dad. Okay. They subpoena Microsoft because he was an exec at Microsoft, and that happens July 5th. Okay. Now, yeah, nice index. Apparently Moscow didn't get the same kind of training, right? This is what I'm saying. Idaho, take some notes here, man. Now here we go. Remember, they're looking for that truck, that F-150. Well, here they get this VIN number. So I went ahead and entered that VIN number, and it does come back to this Ford F-150. It's a 2004. But see how they put Bonnie's Auto Sale? And I'll come back to this down the road. But when you want to talk about how your tips and when you're asking for subpoenas or search warrants and the stuff that you get back, and when you get certain things back, you go ahead and then you're making another move from that, right? So that's kind of what I like to pay attention to. Here they take the bank accounts of the parents of Shanna Gardner. Sterling is her dad. Shelly is her mom. Again, Mario Fernandez and Shanna Gardner's, this is the credit union, another credit union, and then this is just Mario Fernandez, and then this JRB person. AT&T record of this phone, a T-Mobile of this phone number, T-Mobile of this phone number, Verizon, this phone number, T-Mobile, that phone number, right here. This is the first time I'm able to connect that this T-Mobile number belongs to Henry Tennan's, one of his cell phones. And that would be between July 25th and July 28th. That's how, when I said earlier, I'll show you guys how I knew that whole pulling over in August, it wasn't just like, oh my God, we just happened to pull over this dude and oh my God, we can't imagine that. Can you believe that? No. So they knew of his name before that August pullover traffic stop. And that comes out, I'm telling you, in that body cam when the officer says, well, do you want me to continue on this ruse, or do you just want me to bring him in, or what do you want me to do? Again, talk about transparency, talk about truthfulness from the prosecution. This is how you do it. So far, nothing but kudos to their investigation and what, boom, they got nothing to hide. Let's go. July, they want this number. Now, discount tire. Again, I'm going back to that whole tire. Right here, 8/11, they run a credit report for Henry Tennant. 8/11. Then what happens, guys? Remember, he gets pulled over in that traffic stop, and that's 8/18. 8/19, Credit One Bank subpoena Henry, PNC Bank Henry, Bank of Missouri Henry, AT&T, this number, AT&T, boom. And then I'm able to find out that this number right here, that was one of his Henry Tennant's cell phone numbers. T-Mobile number. Again, something to do with Microsoft. Now, October, this is what's interesting, and I will highlight it in this month. In this month, October 2022, okay, this is where they say that it comes back that they were able to see that Mario Fernandez Saldana, he wrote Henry Tennant 3 checks that were handwritten in October of 2022, and that they were able to find this because they were in his financials, meaning Henry Tennant's bank records reflected these 3 written checks that were deposited. I said to myself, how does somebody who's in jail deposit checks? This is news to me. What that means is that Mario would have had to write these checks. There were 3 of them, and had to give them to somebody else. And somebody else had to then go to the bank and deposit them into his, who's going to endorse the backs of these checks? They would have been forged. Or did you go and have a meeting up at the jail and you had a sit down and you handed him and he was able to sign these checks for you to then go deposit them for him? I mean, come on, like how fucking stupid can you possibly be? So I'm telling you, everything about those checks is very, very interesting. Something's up with that, in my opinion. Not necessarily in a bad way, but in a way that, this is a murder for hire. So when did Mario pay for the job to be done? Okay. He didn't pay until after he was after he was arrested and in jail. It's some October month after he's been in there since August. But then how does he get him into his account? How are they signing? And you're paying somebody in checks to kill somebody? It doesn't seem right. Now, think about this, though. Henry he rented from Mario. And I can tell you that when I've ever rented and I get a deposit back, I've gotten checks back for my deposit that I had in a place. So it's very interesting that, now I don't remember myself getting 3 checks from my landlord, but I definitely have gotten checks, and then I deposited a check from my landlord because they had to pay me back my deposit. But I don't remember getting 3. Now, who pays for murder for hires and checks? I've never seen that. That'd be a first. But these 3 handwritten checks in October of 2022, really interesting. Now, closing it out for just this part of the subpoenas, again, AT&T for this JO person. You got a credit union again, WhatsApp, Apple, T-Mobile, and this stuff right here. This was right after Henry appeared in January when he was, in 2023, he was indicted for the murders. I'm sorry, for Jared's murder. And now, these are the search warrants. So those were subpoenas. These are the search warrants. So they got a search warrant for, this is the Gardner Fernandez residence, where they lived, their Ring camera. They got a search warrant for Jared's Apple Mac. Mario, they got his historical records from January 1st, 2022 to March 31st, 2022. Historical records. They got Mario's email. Remember, so Jared was murdered February 16th, 2022. That's the murder. See JRB here, 1/1/2022 to at the end of April there, 2022. JRB order precluding subscriber notification, tenant. That's how I was able to figure out that was the cell phone number. So I went back and saw the 904-801. So when I went back through here, 904-801, that's how I figured that out. And it was the only one that was like that. Now they said that in March, there was 30 calls. And then in February, there was 35 calls between Mario and Henry. Now I will tell you this, that Henry moved out of the house that he was renting on Potomac in February, the same year of the murders. Henry moves out of the rental. So I guarantee you that the phone calls they're going to be talking about and why they would have talked this much. Think about what you would say. Somebody wasn't paying their rent. I'm trying to get a hold of them. They're trying to, explain to me why they're not making payments. Of course, I talked to them a lot. I had to evict him. He had to leave. And I'm trying to track him down to get my money that he didn't pay me, things like that. But he moved out of that rental, Mario's rental, the same month of the murder. That month right there. So they had 35 phone calls between Mario, and Henry in February of 2022, and 30 phone calls. And then there was 5 to 9 phone calls in June and July. And the same month of the murder is the same month that Henry Tenen moved out of that rental on Potomac. Search warrants continuing. There was an LG phone, Tenen, search warrant for Henry Tenen's DNA. That would have been after he was arrested. Tenen's cell phone, so that's how I figured that out. Again, look at, I don't know if this was an actual duplicate. I mean, how many cell phones are we talking about? You can hardly see it anymore. It's blurry. Looks clear to me. Maybe it's your eyes there, murky. Might be your eyes. Then, look at that. They didn't X that out. Again, another phone number, Google device IDs. Again, this JO person from, see that October? Okay. Potomac Ave, this was the rental, 5239. So they got a search warrant for that. They were out at that house multiple times. Not blurry now. So the 5239 address, that is the rental where Henry lived and stayed and rented that from Mario Saldana. So the whole connection here is that Henry Tenen knew Shanna Gardner's new husband because he rented and stayed at the house that he owned. He was like a tenant. Again, Boost Mobile. This is where they said they found his truck that matched the description of the vehicle that was seen in the area. There's the F-150. This is JO. This is another number. Tracking device. They put a tracking device on Fernandez's vehicle. So they got a search warrant for a tracking device on, and they put it on his vehicle. This is the arrest warrant for, and then in that arrest warrant is where I got the information of the number of phone calls in those 2 months, the checks being written and handwritten, and in Henry Tenen's financials, meaning in his bank. But it was in October of 2022. He was in jail. He never left jail. He still hasn't left jail. He has been in jail since that August 2022 pullover traffic ruse into, we really want you for this murder. Search warrant for Fernandez's Toyota, Samsung Galaxy, Fernandez's phone, Gardner's cell phone, then a silver iPhone Model 13 SIM card, Apple Watch, Apple iPhone 13 Pro for Gardner's cell phone. So this was interesting. This T-Mobile, that phone compared to this phone of Gardner. Apple Mac Air, Gardner MacBook Air, it's a different one. Corrected Apple Watch Series 6, KI's Residence, Apple Watch, or is that KJ? KJ's cell phone, Google download Gardner's email account, Apple iCloud Gardner. And then when I thought that, that's not, God, what else are we going to get? What other goodies? Then we get the witness statements and interviews. So remember in the Idaho 4 case, I've done this whole thing where when they were putting it out in these press releases, we've conducted 38 interviews. And I was like, okay, who could these 38 interviews be of, And then it's like, we've conducted X amount, it'd go up or whatever. Here, what they're providing is the witness statements and or the interviews and the dates. So on the day of the murder, that's SV, BB, M.D. So what I was able to do, because like I said, I'm not going to dox people, these civilians, but I was able to go through all of like the witness, all those names, and see who I think that they could have been. But I'll zoom in actually on this. So, but here, Mario, interviewed for the first time March 1st. Shanna Gardner, March 1st. JCJB. CS. Okay, look at, they were interviewed again then on April 15th. POLJP, you know. Then this LJ person, because they wanted their cell stuff. WHKJ. JO. Look at how that date's different of all the other ones. And that's something that's really significant in the case. That's the first day that they ever talked to them, is in July. They talked to them a lot. JO, the 26th of July. JO 2 times on 8/18. Look at the same. This is the day of the arrest of pullover of Henry. Okay. Henry traffic. HTJDJO twice. WH. This is an interesting month too, because this is where they find out about the bank. Mario was arrested March 2nd. This is interesting. This is not even in order. 2/6, unless that's supposed to be 2024 maybe. But these two aren't in order. JO control call. So it's interesting, but these aren't in order. So unless they just messed up, and that's actually because it's supposed to be 2024, but a Gardner body cam. So I don't know. Now, this is attachments to reports. This is the logs of, okay, they have photo log, media, crime scene log, ATF custody, media. So text messages from Kristen Reinigan. So this is the labeling. Let me back up a little bit and where it came from. So number 11 is a still photo from 3/07/15 media. Luther White van pic, 13 witness statements, consent form, photo log. 17 is receipt, bearded pig. I think that's a place to eat. 19 is your Facebook tip, Facebook response. I think that that's interesting. Who says Facebook can't help people out? There you go, Facebook. So, The rim information is not what you're thinking, guys. It's the tire information, the rim. We got data here. So American app, Canvas, 360 timeline from ZV. Interesting. 360 timeline is like your Life 360 app. Google timeline from OV screenshot of phone log, screenshot of mail from news interview. Interesting. Screenshots, media, document, forensic investigation unit docs, search warrant, Google geofence, SW scene, subpoena, T-Mobile, subpoena, AT&T, subpoena, YMCA report, St. John, victim's car. Talk about transparency right here. Revolution chiropractic docs, victim, interesting. Gun shop info. Detective Peter Hernandez. Photos of, again, that's the victim's car. Okay. Credit report for Mario. Credit report for Jared, Kristen, Shanna Gardner. Screenshot of encrypted message. I want to know what that is. 57. Subpoena. Farm Bureau life insurance. 10mm pistol transaction from Beaches Pawn. Prior 1840 hours would be 12,640. Search warrant returns. Search warrant returns completed geofencing. T-Mobile tower dump, ex-wife's house. T-Mobile tower dump scene. So that's like the numbers that would be in the area at that time. Consent form for, this is the consent to search Mario Fernandez DNA, Shanna, search warrant, complete search warrant with return, Google. Ooh. Google geofence provider, Michael Bess. Rental sale from Outdoor Adventures. That's his brother, Justin. JRB messages right there. This is that JRB name. And now something that's interesting is, just so we know, is I don't know what Justin's middle name is, but Justin Brannigan, JRB. So JRB. Justin, I don't know what his middle name is. It could be him. But then there's also another person. I told you guys I would tell you who I thought it could possibly be, which would be John Robert Biggerstaff, but I don't know. BF Goodrich. Again, they're looking for those tires right there. The photos of the house. There's now, I believe that there was tires at the house in the garage. So I don't know if they were trying to compare if the tires at the house matched. Where did they get this tire that they put in the middle of the road type of thing? I think they were driving around to see if they could find where this tire came from that they put in the middle of the road. See, Regions Bank, JRB. I really can't believe that they would have truly been thinking that the brother had something to do with this. But, I mean, blue Ford F-150 vehicle registration, Ford F-150 customer receipt, Ford F-150 work order. And I wonder if that's from the Bonnie's place. Chain of custody from St. Johns County JO DNA consent form. Cell phone, Henry Tennant DNA search warrant, JRB tolls. The only thing maybe I could think of is that if maybe on the life insurance, if his brother was, if on the life insurance, if it wasn't just the wife, the new wife, his full name was Jared Gallenbradigan. Yeah, definitely it's not him. This isn't, but if you need to eliminate people, I mean, it could have been that Jared had his brother on his life insurance. So therefore, they went ahead and checking him out. Or this person is not the JRB, that's not him, it's someone else. Let's see what else we have here. We got PNC bank return, photo log, jail consent, search warrant for, that's again for the house. That 5239. Computer forensic report. Moto G Pure JO. Interesting. Photos of phone sent to Cellbrite. Now, hold on one second. Now, Jeremy Ordway, Ordway, he lived at 5239 Potomac Ave. And he could have been the roommate. So remember how I told you somebody was like coughing shit up? So this JO person, my hunch is that this is Jeremy. And that he actually lived at the same address. He lived at the Potomac address. That makes sense to me. And then what do we got here? Custody arrest warrant for him, rights form, arrest and booking, search warrant, KJ residence for phone. Interesting. Who is that? Subpoena return, American Express. Now they go ahead and they give us, this is the physical evidence. Talk about just like, this fucking shit is just amazing when you get what you're supposed to get. But Jeanne Taylor's like, what the fuck? So this is the physical evidence. The quality's shitty, but I'll help you guys out. Scene. There was a Busch beer can west side of the road, marker 11. There's a pair of socks with white some socks there. This was day 2 photo disc and log from the scene. DNA swab control evidence on the can, DNA swab of the beer can, evidence can, DNA swab shaft of beer can. DNA swab lip of beer can. This is the keys, miscellaneous keys, safekeeping, victim vehicle. DNA swab shaft of beer can. AirPods safekeeping, victim vehicle. Latent print, 1 of 2 from shaft of beer can. latent print 2 of 2 from shaft of can. Your crime scene log. Boom. This is everybody that would have entered and left the crime scene. Something that's going to be really big in the Dr. Moore, Dr. Drake case. Let me see your evidence log, motherfucker. I want to see your crime scene log. Who was coming in and going, because you have to mark what times they came and went. Shell casings, marker number 11. Shell casing, marker number 2, 3, 4. Holy shit. He was shot 4 times. Or there's, I don't think they missed, but there's 4 casings. 1, 2, 3, 4. Damn. That's so sad. Scraping from curb. Vehicle tire on rim. This is the scene. Ford F-150 Tenon. Scene. Bride again. Sheets covering body at scene. Oh god. Swab from valve stem area tire swab from the rim 1, tire swab from the rim 2, tire rim 3. They did an elimination swab. Black Apple iPhone 13 Pro. That was Jared's at the scene. Cell phone case with ID and credit card. Jared's. DVD of interview with SVB. DVD of video from American Ave address. Oh, shit. Projectile. Marker 10, marker 13. Volkswagen. Latent prints, left rear of driver's side door exterior. Latent prints, driver's side. Video from Sanctuary Way. DVD contained video from another address. DVD contained another address. USB drive from Bates Security Builder Choice. USB containing video. So those are surveillance. DVD interview of Justin Bradigan. Consent to search car from Kristen Bradigan, the wife. Consent to search phone from Kristen. Consent to search watch from Kristen. Witness statement CF. Witness statement, witness. DVD with photos. Victim's vehicle. DNA swab rubber area near valves. I mean, look at how detailed this all is. Okay. All I know is Ann Taylor didn't get shit like this, man. Nothing like this. Right here. Computerized dine-in ticket from Bearded Pig. Ring footage. Video clip. Yep, right there. 6:40 he was killed. What else do we got here? All this surveillance footage. All these addresses. UPS video. Victim's left finger clipping. Bullet fragments. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, only 3. Victim's Apple Watch. Victim's DNA blood card. ME office. The bag tag. Dryer paper. Victim's shorts, victim's shirt number 2, victim's underwear, Emmy office major case prints, victim's flip-flops, transport sheet, interview. DVD was Circle K. CD of autopsy. DVD of interview video for Nan. Oh, wow, he was on camera interviewed. Oh, right there. Shanna Gardner, DVD of interview. Should be a couple of those. Let's see. Public storage video, USB drive. Video of funeral. Interesting. Ford F-150 something. Oh, maybe. Oh, 2,100 hours. Advanced data recovery authorization form. Timeline near the scene. Anello's timeline near the scene. Okay, I know what that is. Let's see. Victim's work computer interview with Justin. That's the second one. Interview with John Curry. Original. God, something from the spare. Paper package from tire. DVD with pictures of tire stains. Disposable fingerprint powder. Disposable brush. Plug from the tire. Those are the stains. Disc of Chase return. Bank. Disc of, okay. This is bank. Bank. These were the elimination swabs with all the detectives. Interesting. They don't have to do that, and they did that. Shanna's vehicle swab. They gave up their DNA. DVD of interview. So that's the second one. Second one. Kristen gave up her DNA. Interview with victims. Fitbit. Interview with Warren John. LJ. Interesting. Gray Applebook Pro model owned by Jared. Apple desktop computer owned by Jared. DVD of KJ interview. Consent to search for Justin. He gave over his DNA. Shelly Gardner, DVD of interview with Shelly. Oh, bam. This is the mom of Sterling. DVD of interview with him. Wow. You understand that they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to talk to the police. So they did the interview. Let's see what else here. Receipt Walmart. Clinton, North Carolina. Interesting. Damn, there's a guy from North Carolina on here. Hold on one second. And that's one of the names that I thought was. Where's that dude from North Carolina at? Jorge Cruz, JC, Bellevue, North Carolina. Interesting. Right here. Photos insurance for Progressive. Still photo of Walmart purchase. Interesting. There was always a Walmart receipt and everything. Let's see what else we got here. Audio interview Henry. This goes in order. Disc of auto recorded interview J.O. F-150, so Tenon's F-150. DNA swab. I wonder if they found... Discount tire receipt. There we go. Tire Tenon. Discount tire receipt. Now remember, Henry went ahead and he confessed to the murder. He confessed to being the murderer. J.O. interview. CD recording of interview. J.O. again. See J.O. again. Henry. Now this is who I believe is Jeremy. Jeremy lived at that address where Tenon lived. Disposable coffee cup used by... Oh, wow. Look at that. Did they go and obtain his DNA like that? Disposable coffee cup. Janie Deal. JD. Huh. William Herbal. Chain of custody for phone. JRB. See, I don't think that's that's Justin, so I think I'm right. I think if it was Justin, they would have just put Justin right again. JRB, in my opinion. This discovery makes the Idaho 4 investigation look like a complete joke. Exactly. Boom. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing when you, when both sides, it's just this is what law is about. Here, yeah, you're asking for discovery. We have to turn over discovery. Okay. So JRB, I'm leaning towards now being, take another look here. Interesting. Could be John Robert Biggerstaff. He's got a brother or a cousin, a family member that's part of the city of Irving Police Department in Texas, but I mean, truck keys. This with interview. Alfredo somebody ver something. CD of J. Bradigan work computer download. That's Jared. Jared silver key. Green camo all weather jacket. Search warrant. That's from the address. That's from the Potomac Ave address. Another interview with search warrant for something at Potomac again. Oh, check this out. So this is all the stuff they took from the Potomac Ave house. Tan black boots.
Mommy.
Oh, hey, Bubba, what's up? Oh, yeah. Let's see. So This is the search warrant stuff from the Potomac Ave. I'm gonna be finishing this up in 6 minutes, guys. So we got marijuana in clear plastic bag. There's a flip phone cell. ZT touchscreen cell phone. Dell laptop. Description: closed mail address to Henry. Jack's Beach Home Depot receipt. Let's see. Brown zip up hoodie. Dark blue Motorola cell phone. There's a bunch of cell phones at this house. There's a Perfecta 380 ammo, 50 cartridge, marijuana, bank statements, notebook, etc. Miscellaneous papers from F Garage. Rental agreement, interesting. Papers from room C. Can't really see that. Bank statements. There's a bong, you guys, from the safe. Make sure we get our bong back. Marijuana. Dark blue Motorola cell phone. Let's see this. Audio interview ND. Yeah, audio interview HD. DH. Those are the people that were living in the house. Double check those initials. DH, DH, EH, ND. Oh, we have ND, DH, HD. Yeah. Yep, those are the people that lived in that house. Cell search consent. Okay, financial document recovered from Henry Tennant's former vehicle. Checks. Were they just in his car and they weren't cashed? Interesting. F4 business card, gold latch, first bank papers, IRS papers, F-150 envelope, paycheck stub, PNC Bank, 3 check stubs. Interesting, because the 3 checks in October, 3 check stubs. PNC ATM receipt, registration, face mask. Who would have all of this still in a vehicle after all these months? Like, look at all these swabs they took, okay? Of just like everything. Now you're gonna sit here and tell me all they sent to the lab in the murders in Idaho. You have 4 victims, and all that was tested in a lab, or like, possibly sent to this lab, is 113 pieces from 103 to 113. So 113 that was sent to the lab. I'm telling you, they were swabbing the shit out of that F-150 to see if they could put Mario in that vehicle at all. If anybody, if like his DNA was being there. Cigarettes from the ashtray. bar for the jack. Look, what the hell was all in this vehicle? This is just more swabbing, swab. Damn, they have, holy shit. Computer forensic report. Computer Henry, JSO mobile device exam summary, CoolPad cell phone. Henry Tennant's cell site search warrant return for 904 number. ISO computer screen. Henry Tennant's cell site return for that number, which is 904. 442. 44200. Record interview again. Shanna Gardner. Silver phone. Shanna Gardner T-Mobile, so she had two phones. Mobile SIM card recovered. Apple Watch recovered. Acer laptop. Apple recovered. MacBook. Body cam footage of search warrant. KJ, audio video recording KJ. Chain of custody for Mario's phone. Imagine that. Arrest warrant, Mario. So all they have of Shanna Gardner's is this. Interesting. All right. Damn. So basically, round this up by saying that was Jose Baez asking for discovery, and within 15 days, boom, the state's discovery exhibit and demand, they wanted them to reciprocate. And so I'll be having a field day going through more stuff. But basically, Shanna Gardner, it's going to be, I believe that they're going to say that if Mario hired him, it had reasons to do with that he was jealous of Jared, and it had nothing to do with, Shanna didn't know about it. So I'm curious to see how they're going to connect, Gardner to it without Mario saying that. So, but of course, Jose Baez comes out. He says that his client is innocent. And, what you have here is you have Tennant saying that he's implicating both of them. And I'm curious because so Tennant, you were kicking it with Gardner. Would she come over too? And he all set up Potomac and talked about this. I think that, and I'm gonna say it, the type of money that Gardner has, I just I'm curious how much money he got paid. I'm curious as to the sloppiness surrounding that you would have this guy doing something like that for you. And then the fact that's, how many years went by. And that these checks are from October of 2022. He was already, arrested. And so I believe there's going to be some stuff where it's kind of like the Adelson case, rather, where they put people on wires. They had to have people communicating and talking and things like that. But who would pay anybody in checks for a hit? I mean, I think the dumbest person in the world wouldn't do that. I mean, who would pay somebody to do a hit and give them three checks? What do you guys think? I mean, but you can't find anything that you just saw here in the past hour and a half. You can't find that on mainstream media. That discovery, though, was very thorough. I give props to the prosecution. They wanted to put together a really good case, and I believe that they're very organized. I believe that they worked hard, and that's how long things take, unlike what they did in Idaho. So I always say that when there's good police work, I have no problem praising it as it should be praised. So, but I do question, this whole connecting Shanna Gardner to it, and the whole checks with the date of October 2022. Henry was in jail. Henry can't be cashing checks. So who cashed these checks for him? Who would have signed the back of him? And I'm sorry, but who the fuck pays for a hit in checks? And then it's way after, the fact. The murder was February of 2022. And in the same month of the murders, Henry was living in a house, had lived there from 2018 to 2022. So he had lived there for 4 years. And the same month of the murder, he then moves out, of that house on Potomac. So this appears like Ellie was on the ball. I think where it's gonna get interesting here is that I want to know how they were able to connect. It was told to the public that they didn't have a license plate on that vehicle in all those months that they were looking for the owner of that blue F-150. So I want to know how they were able to put that blue F-150 belonged to Henry, and who would keep especially when they put it out to the public, you would have to know that Shanna and Mario, right, would be like, dude, they're looking for that truck. They seen it, get rid of it or clean it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that truck just seemed like it, when you're going to be wiping down a truck, or rather like swabbing that truck all those months later. And the stuff that you're finding in there, like, I don't know. But then again, when you're dealing with fucking idiots, I can't think like that. I can't think like an idiot. I like to think that if I committed a crime like this, I definitely would not be accepting checks. I'm not going to be accepting checks. Even if the person wanted to pay me that way, I wouldn't accept the check. But he was a tenant of Mario. And so like the whole like check thing, I'm curious to see if there's a way that they're going to say that it had something to do with a deposit getting back. But I think that's going to be interesting how they're going to connect Shanna to it. I do. But that's what I got for you guys. So until next time.